Hi everybody, this is Avrohom Czapnik from the Jewish Learning Exchange. I hope you and yours are well. We must intensify our prayers for the situation in Israel. May the Almighty protect all of the Jewish people and soldiers, and may they be successful in what they're doing. It's a difficult time in Israel, enemies from all sides, and may the Almighty protect them all and make them be successful in defeating their enemies. This week's Torah portion is Parshat Behaaloscha, and Parshat Behaaloscha begins with instructions about how to kindle the menorah. The menorah is the 7-branched lamp that was in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle, the mobile temple, as well as later on in the temple in Jerusalem. And Rashi says, why at the beginning of this week's portion do we start with the menorah? And what's the relationship it has with the end of last week's portions, where it deals with the donations of the tribes, the Nesiim, the princes of the tribes gave to inaugurate the sacrifices for the Mishkan, for the tabernacle. And Rashi teaches us that Aaron was sad because he and his tribe were not involved in the inauguration. And they felt badly, they wanted to do something. The princes of Reuven and Shimon and Yehuda and Yisachar and Zevulun and Dan and Naphtali and Gad and Asher, and not Yosef, but rather Ephraim and Manasseh. So that's where the 12, because Levi was not in the count. But the Almighty reassured Aaron and said, yours is greater, because you're kindling the menorah, that's going to be greater. And the commentaries grapple, what's the greater aspect of the menorah? And one answer that's given is that the menorah lasts longer. Obviously, the temples, unfortunately, were destroyed. The 2 temples were destroyed in the land of Israel, and hopefully it should be rebuilt soon in our days. But the menorah continues on. How does it continue on? That also didn't continue on. Well, the descendants of Aaron, the Hashmonaim, they did the battle against the Greek Assyrians. And because of them, we have the Hanukkah menorah, the 8 branches of a menorah that we kindle, all in honor of Hanukkah. And that's one of the reasons why, Aaron, yours is greater. The menorah, the 7 lamps that you had, and the 8 that we do for Hanukkah is all on your watch, and that's why that is greater. And there's a practical lesson for us to learn in all this, and that is the issue of, we think, oh, that one accomplished that, and this one's doing this great thing. What about me? And the answer many times is, what mitzvah do you have in front of you that you can do? It seems little, doesn't make a difference. Our sages tell us, mitzvah ha'baliyotcha al tach mitzeno. When you have a mitzvah that comes before you, don't let it become chametz. Don't let it rise. Don't push it off. Grab it and do it now, because maybe that's the thing Hashem wants you to do today and now. And that's an important idea for us to remember, that we have many opportunities and we should use them. And there's a beautiful story about a boy named Rabbi. He was a 17-year-old yeshiva boy who was on a bus in Jerusalem, and he was thinking about, what should I do? What can I accomplish? And he hears on the radio, a talk radio that's on, that the bus driver was listening to, about the host saying there's a family that their electricity was turned off, and they're very cold in the winter, they don't have heating, and they need 1,800 shekel, the equivalent of our dollars in Israeli coins. They need 1,800 shekel to get the electricity turned back on again. And Rafi says, I'm going to do that. I'm going to jump. And he jumps off the bus, calls the radio station, and he says, I'm going to take care of the $1,800. And he had 300 shekel on him, and he went around to the stores and started saying, and they said, hey, you're the one who called in? And he said, yes, please help out. And he raised the money and he brought it to the radio station. And they asked him, who are you? This is amazing. He said, oh, my name is Rafi. He didn't even give his last name. And the lesson for us is powerful. He grabbed the mitzvah. He heard it. Many of us go, oh, what a shame. What am I going to do? I'll just give 5 shekel. What am I going to accomplish? He gave 300, but that's more importantly, he went and he took responsibility and he raised the money. And that's an important lesson for us. Don't compare ourselves to anybody else. Don't minimize what we can do, and don't think we can't do. And don't think that's just a little thing. Everything that comes our way is a big mitzvah, and we should grab it. And just like Aaron grabbed the mitzvah of the menorah, we should grab whatever mitzvah comes our way. And there's a sweet postscript to the story with Rafi. What had happened was, 10 years later, he's married with children, and he was having a hard time financially as well. He was studying Torah full time, didn't have a lot of money, and he told somebody that, his electricity is going to be turned off. And someone said, I have an aunt that could help. And he called his aunt Shoshana, and she said, I'll pay for it. And he was so grateful, and thank you very much. Why are you doing this? He says, well, actually 10 years ago, I was a widow with 5 children, and an anonymous Rafi came and paid my bill, so I made up, whenever I hear of a situation like this, I'm going to do my part and help pay their bill. And Rafi said, I'm that boy. I'm that man that paid your bill. And they were so happy with the fact that together they saw the greatness of the Jewish people in helping each other. So maybe we inspired by what we think is big or small mitzvah that comes our way, and grab it and use it well so that we can accomplish what we need to accomplish in this world. And again, may our prayers and actions be a merit for the Israeli people and the Jewish people around the globe. Have a wonderful Shabbos.